don't go out, it's too dangerous. I was door dashing, and in 3 hours, I made $350. I get a car wash, it's a write off. New tires for the car, it's a write off. And I've gotten plenty of free food from doing DoorDash. The person canceled their order and I've already picked it up, so at that point it's mine.
Well, getting started with DoorDash.
Yep.
Again, I believe you started like 18, 19.
Somewhere
We were
around
kind of
there.
thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
around there. Because I remember doing it one day in 2019. So this is actually something we both did.
Yep.
I did it one day and then said I would a bunch of other days and then never did. What's maybe some advice we can give people right off the bat with DoorDash? You would give people
Yeah.
right off the bat. Like if you were brand new today in 2026.
Make sure the mileage is worth it for the money that you are guaranteed. DoorDash will sometimes hide how much you're supposed to earn. Like it'll say, this will give you $6. Then you'll do the order, and all of a sudden you're getting paid $10. And it's like, oh, hey, here's a surprise. It's actually this much that you're getting. If you're driving, you know, 7 miles, for me, I make it at least dollar per mile or whatever. So I would need at least, I don't take anything less than 7.25 anyway. But for me, driving 7 miles, give me $8,
Okay.
for it, something like that. You're not driving, 10 miles for $2. Because
Right.
there's plenty of orders like that, and it's an instant decline. But there's plenty of people that do because they want that 100% acceptance rate or whatever. And that's dumb.
Yeah. Future videos, I guess we'll get more into the metrics,
Right.
how to become more of a pro. But yeah, getting started, anything they should know about going to these restaurants for picking up
Uh,
food?
I
Or is there
mean,
any certain ones where,
for like McDonald's, they usually go off of a code, but otherwise, it's as simple as you just show the phone, right? You show your phone, it says the order name. Most of the times, restaurants want to see that anyway to make sure that one, you didn't just screenshot it and you're there to steal the food.
oh,
But then also, sometimes people have complicated names or weird orders or whatever, or
oh,
there's multiple of the same name, it's just different last name. So you just show the phone. You don't even really necessarily need to talk to anybody that's working there. Just, I got to order. And that, they hand you the food and get out of there.
yeah. So one thing people always ask, how much money do you make
Sure.
hourly? So obviously here it isn't an hourly amount.
Well, there's two sections of DoorDash. That you can
Oh,
either
so this
earn
is
by
new.
order or you can earn by time. The thing is, with earn by time, you're guaranteed while you are dashing to earn a 16.50, but it varies depending on what state you're in per hour. But the clock starts as soon as you hit accept and it ends once you hit end dash or end or delivered on that order, right? While you are waiting for an order, you're not getting paid. So it's only while you are actively in the middle of an order you are getting paid. That 16.50 is what it is out here. So you can earn by time, and then you still get tips, and tips are on top of it, but it's a guaranteed amount that you'll get. The problem is you can't decline orders, and you don't know how much you're gonna make for that order, right? It could be a $0 tip, so you're only getting that 16.50 base salary. It'll vary the time of the day when I will do that. Sometimes in the earlier parts of the day, it's really slow. So I'll do something like that so that you're guaranteed stuff and you can just kind of stay
Oh,
busy.
yeah. Now I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
Like you pretty much only get paid when you're like driving then,
Yeah.
right? So when you're
Basically.
waiting in the restaurant, you're
You're
not.
getting paid for that too. It's
Oh,
as soon as you hit accept on that order, right? So when you hit accept, you go to the restaurant, you're getting paid. When you're waiting for that order, if it takes 20 minutes for them to give you that order, you're getting paid. And that's where that benefits because if you just accept let's say a $10 order, right? But it takes them a half hour to get you that food. So most of the time I'll just cancel that order or whatever and move on to the next one. Or if they say it's going to take too long, I'll just move on. But If he's like, hey, it's gonna be another half hour wait, cool, I'll wait. I'm getting paid by the hour at that point, or by the minute, you know. So I'll sit there all day. I'm getting paid regardless.
Yeah.
So
take your time back there.
exactly. There was one day that I was doing it, and I had to wait at a Chipotle forever. I think in all, it took me almost an hour and a half to do these 2 drop off orders. I made $75 off of it with tips and that earned by time included. And that was just one order that took a decent amount of time, but less than 2 hours in, I was already $75 ahead. It's a rare occasion, but it happened.
Still,
there's one order where it was like a earned by order, right? Is like you're gonna make $5 off of it, but it was literally down the street. So I was like, why not? It's gonna take me 5 minutes to do it. I picked it up, and it was order was done instantly. It was ready to go. I went down the street, dropped it off, $25.
Oh, so you got a tip?
Yeah, huge tip. Yeah,
Nice.
So it varies, but sometimes you get those good days. And this was probably for a different video. We can talk about this. On the days that the weather is awful, is the days to go out dashing. There was a really bad snowstorm that we had a couple of years ago here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Where they were specifically saying don't go out, it's too dangerous. I was door dashing, and in 3 hours I made $350.
Putting that Equinox to good work.
Exactly.
So that's, I guess, a question there. If you're starting off new, maybe what kind of car would you recommend? Let's say a 20-year-old.
Fuel efficient. Just don't use a truck. Don't use a Jeep. Be smart about it. Just use a. If I could, I would just use a sedan. It's not like you're using this gigantic orders where you need an SUV. But I have a family car, so I use it.
Wintertime, though, not all sedans have 4-wheel drive like mine.
Yeah, I mean, but also if you're smart, you can drive on a front-wheel drive vehicle just fine. Or you can get through. But also if you go through like the snowstorm days, sure, yeah, you probably want an all-wheel drive vehicle, but get good tires on there, you should be fine. As far as starting DoorDash, I mean, it's as simple as you just download the Dasher app. You just fill out a background check information. Usually takes a couple of days, depending on if your background's sketchy or not. And then that's that. You just hit. It used to be like you would maybe have to schedule it, like schedule when you were gonna dash that day, or you would have to wait until it was busy in the area. Nowadays, it's always labeled as busy, even if it's not.
Again, I was asking about money, and then you brought up the 2 different methods to getting paid. So if someone, again, 20 years old, let's say,
sure,
they just want to know if they did it 40 hours a week full time for a year, what do you think they could gross? Again, not gross, so we're not worried about gas, we're not worried about car breaking down or any maintenance your car might need because you put on the extra miles.
I would say in general, if you are in a decent area, because it's obviously based off demand.
Yeah, so metro area.
Yeah, I would say you can average pretty decent $20 an hour. So whatever that's like 40-ish a year.
Yeah.
And that's if you just work bare bones 40 hours a week or whatever. I know there are days where, I was like, I have all day. And I put in a 12-hour day and I made, $250. And that was my whole day. I don't think that's quite $20 an hour, but that includes, the downtimes, because there's been days or whatever where I've sat for 2 hours and not one thing popped up, or it's all crap orders that I wasn't gonna do. Have Netflix ready.
Yeah, so that's advice.
But I mean, it's
on a tablet or something.
There's a lot of downtime, and stuff. It's not hard. It's pretty easy.
Yep. So now adding in gas, and expenses, what do you think they would make like $30,000 a year? Are we talking about $10,000? I mean, again, every situation's different,
Right.
obviously.
I would say if you want to put expenses in with your earnings, I would only count on half. So you're maybe only making like $10 an hour in like the grand scheme of things. If you bring in maintenance into it, gas, if you grab some food or whatever, right? If you think about all like the big expenses that you probably would have to put into your car, I would say probably take away about 50% of whatever you make. The thing is though too, so when I first started doing DoorDash, it was more for extra money, side
Yeah.
hustle, whatever, just to make a little extra cash on the weekends. Now it's the tax purposes is why I do it because of all the deductions that you get to do, right? Yeah, mileage, but also anything maintenance wise for the cars, it's a write off. Anything that I purchase as far as cleaning supplies for the car, it's a write off. I get a car wash, it's a write off. New tires for the car, it's a write off because I use that car for work. So all that stuff is all write off purposes. So that's why I still continue to do DoorDash and I do at least the minimum of the $600
Yeah.
a year. Granted, that means I don't get a ton with mileage, and I do disclose that I do use it for personal. So you gotta track your miles properly. But I mean that write-offs are like now I see why all these millionaires have so many write-offs is because it's a very satisfying thing to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I still do DoorDash. And if being in a family situation with taxes and stuff like that is very, very financially beneficial.
Yeah. So you would recommend to new people any maintenance you do on your car, keep the receipt.
Oh yeah,
Any kind of miles, always
track your miles.
track that.
Yep.
Does DoorDash help you with that at all? Like say how many miles you went for orders or
So they do, but they only calculate the active ones. I also calculate like so I'm here in the White Bear area, right?
yeah.
If I got to go to Forest Lake, let's say for an order, they'll calculate the approximate miles that it would take you to drive from White Bear to Forest Lake, and that's it. But I also calculate the ones that go from White Bear to Forest Lake and from Forest Lake back to White Bear to get to my area to keep on door dashing.
Yeah, and that's fair. I guess they don't do that.
They don't do that probably because they're like, oh, we don't know if you stopped or technically
picked
you're
up
not
another
working
order
with
there.
us at that
Yeah.
particular time, type of thing. So yeah, I track all of that.
Well, did you have any interesting experiences in your early days of DoorDash? Were there any moments you were like, this isn't for me?
When I was first learning and taking the app was it wasn't super new, but it was new. And they would try to force you to take 100 orders or whatever at a time. And some of them were so spread out. I remember one day that I finally grabbed this order, and the app was so new that I couldn't tell exactly where these orders were going or how they fit in a route, right? So I grabbed these two. I went 20 miles or whatever one way. And then to do the second order, I had to backtrack back the 20 miles to where that food was at, right? And then go an additional 10 miles the other way.
Oh.
And it was for maybe like $12 or whatever.
Oh.
Like I was still new trying to figure out like the skill of where to go and whatever. So I mean, there's definitely some mistakes in there for sure. When it was new, there was a lot of growing pains. Now there's not as many orders that don't make sense. You still get a few. I definitely got some last week that it didn't make any sense of why it was given to me at all. Like to go and pick up an order in downtown Minneapolis and then deliver it out in St. Louis Park when I'm here in White Bear.
Yeah, other side of the metro.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like 25 minutes to downtown Minneapolis, and then
at 5:00 though too.
Yeah.
So,
rush hour, you're saying?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, then hour. Yeah.
Right.
No.
So, and it's Yeah, it is for basically no cash.
So the app probably doesn't take rush hour into consideration.
No, but it does keep you in a certain area, right? There's zones. And like in my area right next to the Maplewood Mall, basically covers the Maplewood Mall in about 10-ish miles
Yeah.
in either direction. That's like your zone. And that's where you're supposed to get most of your orders from.
Yeah.
It's not exactly.
So you just reminded me of something. I remember checking the app back in the day, and it was like all the time around Minneapolis, U of M. They
Yep.
would always give you extra cash
Yep.
for doing those orders. I would rather do around here
Yeah.
because I just feel like driving around's a lot easier. Parking lots
Yep.
just easier to get in and out of. What's your opinion on that? Would you go somewhere else for the extra dollar or two an order, or
I've tried that because I mainly like to stick over here because I know all the streets for the most part. I've tried going up to Roseville here because of how many different restaurants and everybody else that lives up here. You can make more, but you're sitting in traffic a whole lot more and you're dealing with a lot more people. For me, the headache just isn't worth it. I just stay in my area. I know all the roads. I know the ins and outs of every place that offers DoorDash, and I know which stores that I want to go to and which ones I don't. And I'd rather not go somewhere, even if it'll pay a little bit more. To me,
okay?
it's not super worth it. But to 20-year-old who has nothing but time and no job, no other responsibilities, maybe it is worth it to learn those other avenues and where pays more versus others. But to me, it's just not
Mhm.
worth it.
I guess maybe the last question to wrap it up, or last like little discussion. Is there anything else you maybe have in your car when you're door dashing, or anything else you would recommend? Anything for safety? Anything? Keep any snacks in your car if you plan to go out for a few hours?
I know that if my day is planned that I'm going to just be doing DoorDash and chilling out for the day, I will stop at a gas station at the beginning of the day, get a couple drinks. Maybe I'll get like a bag of chips to snack on throughout the day or whatever. I always have napkins in the car in case of a spill because of like if you ever go to McDonald's, yeah, you get a Coke. Half the time there's like Coke coming up off the top of the lid or
Oh,
whatever. It happens to DoorDash drivers all the time where it's foaming out or whatever. So I always have extra napkins. I'm sure some people will carry, concealed carry type of stuff in their car or whatever. I do have a knife in my car, but that's more just like a safety knife type of thing, just to have because it has like the little glass breaker at the end. You know,
yeah.
whatever.
Do you think if you were over in Minneapolis, that you would recommend stuff like safety stuff like that, knives, guns?
Probably. Well, but here's the thing too. Like you have those people that like to try to do workarounds with DoorDash, right? Because if I were to deliver food to you, you could say that you didn't get certain items and get refunded, right? If it happens too much, you eventually get a code. And when I hand you the food, I need to get that code back. So that way you can't say that I didn't give you your food or steal your food or whatever. And I'm sure that happens all the time in Minneapolis with
Oh,
the trying to steal food or jacket or
yeah.
whatever. But I also at the same time I know that there's plenty of DoorDashes that do steal the food from the stores or they'll drive like they're going to make the stop, put it on the step, take the picture, and then they grab the food and run away and stuff. And I've gotten plenty of free food from doing DoorDash and stuff like that too. So,
Yeah.
but that's either because the person canceled their order and I've already picked it up, so at that point it's mine. Or some stores will give you free food, which is nice too. So there's that.
Why do people cancel?
I don't know, to get their money back or
Oh,
they'll think that maybe you just drop it off anyway. Like there's that Uber thing where people will get into Ubers and they'll cancel the ride like 2 minutes into it, thinking the driver's not gonna notice. And I'm
yeah.
sure a couple of people got away with it, posted about it, and other
Yeah.
people will try. It happened a lot more during COVID, but not so much
Yeah.
anymore.
Okay. Well, actually, one more thing before we wrap it up. So, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates.
Yep.
Was there a reason why you did DoorDash instead of the other ones?
In our metro, DoorDash is more popular. Postmates isn't big in Minnesota almost at all. Uber Eats, I think, is bigger in like the middle of the city, but that's just because Uber is huge in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
So that you get extra discounts or whatever for that. But yeah, it's just not. No other thing is really all that popular. I think
Yeah.
in other cities, like in different states, there's different apps that are more popular, and just DoorDash is what's popular here.
Yeah. So if you're someone not getting a lot of DoorDash orders and you're in a metro area, you would maybe recommend trying the other ones to see
Yeah.
if more people are just using that. Okay.
I do know that a lot of people, maybe not so much anymore because there's been more restrictions on it. They'll have both going, Uber Eats and DoorDash, and sometimes they'll take orders in both, especially if they're going in the same direction. I've tried doing that. I don't know. It's just it's a little too much for me.
Yeah. I feel like it would.
To kind of
Because you want to do it, all your orders in like a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah, DoorDash used to be a little more lenient on how much time they gave you to get to certain places or whatever, but they've cut down that time a lot. I've noticed and stuff where I used to deliver things and it would be, 15, 20 minutes earlier than it said it would be delivered. Now I'm like right up against it, like within 5 minutes. So there's not too much more wiggle room, so they've definitely probably caught on and haven't been as lenient on the time frames. And I mean, you get dinged a little bit, I think, on the on time accuracy thing, but I don't know. It's not something I worry about.
Okay. So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. This is Getting Started with DoorDash. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, ask on Discord. And yeah, there'll be more coming. You gave me some ideas already. Yeah, we'll call it there.
Cool.